Hi, Miss Curdy here, and we are ready for topic 6-4. And topic 6-4 is finding the area of squares and rectangles, which is similar to what we were doing in topic 6-3, but now they're not going to give us all of those squares inside the figure, so we'll no longer be counting the unit squares to find the area, which is actually good news because that's not a very efficient way to find the area. But instead, we're going to be using a lot what we know about our arrays, finding the rows and the columns to find the area. Only now, instead of calling them rows and columns, we're going to be calling them something different that has to do with the vocabulary words that are related to our shapes. So that's what we're going to take a look at and be more efficient in finding our area of squares and rectangles. So grab all your supplies, including your note sheet, and we will get started. Okay, so topic 6-4, the area of squares and rectangles. Before we begin, there's just a couple of things that we must know about squares and rectangles. So the first thing that we need to know is squares have 4 equal sides. All of the sides are the same length. So if I tell you that this side is 2, you'll know that all 4 sides of this square are 2 units. And if we're using standard units, I could say it's 2 inches, 2 feet, 2 miles, whatever it may be. Now, in a rectangle, we need to know that the opposite sides are equal. So these 2 sides will be the same length, and then these 2 sides will also be the same length. So if this side is 1, that side will be 1. If this is 3, that side will be 3. And that is something we're going to need to know for this lesson, but also for 6-5 and 6-6, because that is going to help us with finding the area. So one way we already learned to find the area is to count the unit squares inside the figure, just like counting all of the items in an array. But as we've said many times, that is not efficient. There are more efficient, faster ways. So a better way to find the area is to use the formula. I like to call it like the magic potion, the formula for finding that, which is something we're already kind of familiar with. So we've been talking about rows times columns would give us the product. But in this case now, instead of calling them rows and columns, we're going to call it length and width. And that will equal the area. So our new formula is going to be L times W equals A. We know that we can switch those factors around and say W times L equals A. Either way will get us the right answer. I usually go with the length being the longer side. Sometimes our length and width are going to be equal, like in a square. But that doesn't really matter because it'll always give us the same answer no matter the order. So let's go ahead and get started. So in this shape, I know the width is 6 and the length is 9. So 9 feet and 6 feet. So to find my area, I would need to do 9 times 6 equals 54. And my area would be 54. And I always have to label it, so it would be square feet right there. Now I'm going to zoom in a little bit. You may have a situation where you know either the length and the width and then the area, and you have to find that missing side. So in this case, we don't know what the width is. But if we know the area and a length, we would be able to find it. So let's say the area is 48 square feet. How can we figure out what that missing side length is? So I'm going to go ahead and plug that into the chart, what we know. I know that the length is 8 feet. The area is 48 square feet. And if I use my equation, that would be 8 times something equals 48. And we're very familiar with missing factor equations. We've been doing them for a while. We've figured out how to find a missing factor in a multiplication table when we have the product and one factor. So this is nothing new to us. We're just applying it to area now. So I need to figure out what times 8 would give me 48. If I have my facts memorized, this is very easy for me. If I don't, I can use skip counting. I can start at 8 and skip count all the way up to 48 to get my answer. But since we have our facts memorized for the most part, I know that 6 times 8 would give us 48. So I know our missing side length is 6 feet. So question mark equals 6 feet. And again, I'm labeling. Our length and width are always measured in just the standard unit, no square. So it would just be feet or inches or miles. Only our area has that special square feet because that's how I know that I'm using squares to fill in the middle. So what this means in this case is that if my squares were each a foot long and a foot wide, it would take 54 of them to fill this space. And over here, if each of them were 8 feet and 6 feet, it would take 48 of those squares to fill in the center of that. So I know 48 square feet, 48 squares in the middle. So now is your time to go and practice topic 6.4, finding the area of squares and rectangles. Sometimes you'll know the length and width, and you'll multiply them to find the area. Sometimes you'll have one piece, either the length or the width, and the area, and you have to find that missing side. Good luck, and I will see you back here for topic 6-5. Have a great day.